Hey everyone, Casey Scanlon here, bringing you another Lake of the Ozarks Fishing Report. It's mid-June. The water level is a little bit lower than last week. Last week we were at full pool, and so this week we're probably 3/4 of a foot below that. So dropping the water a little bit. Still heavy current generation, and the fish are still scattered. So it's been a little bit different this year. Water temps have been slower to rise than normal, so we're at about the low 70s depending on the day, depending on the sun. We're hanging out about probably 73-degree water temp. But fishing's been good in general. You've had to stay on your toes, change locations, and change presentations kind of daily to stay on top of them a little bit. But fishing's been good. A lot of big fish being weighed in. The local tournaments, evening tournaments, have been taking really good weight to do well. So overall, fish are biting. They're still biting a variety of lures. So it makes it a little bit challenging just because it's not the typical summertime pattern of just getting out deep and staying out deep. It's been a lot of things going on with the water level we have. There's been a lot of fish shallow. And, we've had a late spawn as well, which has kept a lot of fish shallow. We still got fish garden fry, maybe even still a few fish last week with that full moon trying to spawn. So fishing's just kind of been all over the place. But in general, it's been really good. Kind of reminds me of almost a fall bite in that you can do literally anything right now with a variety of baits and catch fish. So the one thing that I've been doing a lot of is fishing a jig. So something I always do, and it's a very productive lure on this lake. You can fish shallow, you can fish deep without changing a lot of your presentations, without grabbing another rod. You can kind of do it all with one rod here. And so really love to fish a jig. And man, I've fallen in love with this 7'4" dragon rod. It's a technique-specific rod, Carbonlite from Bass Pro Shops. I've got a 8-3-1 Carbonlite Bass Pro Shops Johnny Moore Signature Series reel on here, 20-pound Bass Pro Shops fluorocarbon. And I've been throwing anywhere from a 1/2 ounce to a 3/4 ounce jig. 5/8 being probably my most productive jig. Throwing a lot of like green pumpkin, black and blue, just depending on water clarity. I don't get too complicated. This one's just a green pumpkin homemade jig. I've been really throwing a lot of the Bass Pro cover jig. It's a little smaller profile, 1/2 ounce jig. Been working really well around brush piles, points, skipping it underneath boat docks. I had almost 22 pounds in the Bass and Bob Summer Sizzler just a week or two ago on that bait. So day 2, I went out and just kind of fished everything that was in front of me. Brush piles, laydowns, docks, and caught them all on the jig, caught them all day long. And it was a really productive day. So fished a few tournaments lately, and had some mixed results. I went out deep the first day of that Summer Sizzler, fished a deep diving crankbait, big swim baits, a lot of big moving baits, given the conditions, trying to get a big bite. I practiced a day or two for that event and had some mid 20-pound bags, and I caught a couple limits of fish, but brought in only 13 pounds. And I culled everything that I caught all day on all those big baits. I culled everything in the last hour, all 5 fish that I had in the box on a jig. And so the next day I just threw the jig all day and had almost 22. So it's kind of been like that. The weather is getting a little bit warmer, starting to heat up a little bit. So they're sliding out a little bit deeper, it seems like. Points, bluff ends, brush piles, boat docks. It's all been holding fish. So you kind of got to stay on your toes. But, when you do find some fish, you can usually get a couple bites out of that same area, or maybe even, back-to-back casts. So swim bait has been good. Big swim baits, like this glide bait, lead head swim baits where you can just throw them out, reel them over, brush piles, reel them over these points. Variety of baits have been working in that category just because the fish have been eating a lot of big shad, and they're roaming around chasing bait, and that's really what they do a lot of the time. So I've been throwing that one. Another glide rod here that you need to check out, or another rod that you need to check out is this glide rod from Bass Pro Shops. Again, technique specific Carbonlite rod, and it's just been great. It has a good action to it, and it's really affordable. And since I've started using it, I've put a lot more fish in the boat. It's you know, great for casting the bait. You know, it's a big, heavy rod, really light to the touch, but I mean, heavy action where you can throw that bait, but it has a soft tip where it allows you to land it soft and also work that bait properly, put the fish in the boat. So that's been a fun bait to throw. I'm looking at my rod box here behind me, and I got so many rods in there, I can't hardly pull them out. And I've caught a fish on almost all of them. Lots of jigs, lots of swim baits. I got a jerk bait there that I can see. Big 10-inch worm. Shaky head has been working good. I got some of my shaky head worms that I've been using here in front of me. One of them's just, this is a 6.5-inch cut tail worm from Bass Pro Shops. Green pumpkin. Been throwing that on like a 1/4 or 5/16 ounce shaky head. And then the Bass Pro Shops Mag Finake worm. I don't have one here in front of me, but it's similar to like a Magnum trick worm, a bigger, thicker profile to it, and has kind of a flat bottom on it where it gives it a really good fall, good action. And I have one in front of me, but I'm actually out of them. I've been using the heck out of the green pumpkin variety, so I don't think I have any of those in the boat anymore. And then Wacky Rig, been working really good on a lot of our guide trips. Easy to catch fish on. Been catching some bigger fish, and I've been throwing that mostly around boat docks, the crossbars on boat docks, cables, up shallow around visible cover, you know, just easy fishing, you know, throwing it up to the boat dock, letting it sink down, and those fish are running over and getting it. I'm seeing a lot of the fish though on live scope, but if you look at the docks, they're set up kind of where you want them to be. They're on the corners of the docks, kind of the deeper edges a lot of times. Trying to get out in that current, trying to feed on those shad. So you can pinpoint those fish with a variety of techniques that are out on those docks, whether it be a topwater, jerk bait, variety of crankbaits, or any kind of slower presentation that's gonna fall real slow. Actually been swimming a jig a little bit. That same jig that I'm throwing in the brush piles, I'll swim it by the boat docks, especially if I see them high in the water column that day. Your deep crankbaits are still working. You know, just pick one that's going to hit the bottom. That's the best advice I can give to you. And get a good rod where you can really launch that thing. I'm using I think it's a 7'10". Yeah, 7'10", medium heavy action, Bass Pro Shops cranking rod. So this is a cranking stick. This is kind of an older model, but great rod. I've got it in some of the newer models as well. But 7'10", medium heavy, bigger rod. You know, it's going to drive the hooks home on those bigger crankbaits and help you catch a lot more fish. But as far as patterns go, you know, we've talked a lot about the fish sliding out deep, getting in current, boat docks, things like that. But there is a shallow bite, any kind of visible cover, whether it be shallow docks, grass in the water, boat docks that are isolated. Laydowns, anything that you can see that looks fishy, actually targeting shad in the backs of those creeks and stuff too, can be really good. So a lot of fish. We've had a lot of rain, so a lot of those fish are kind of staying back in those creeks, got a little bit of flowing water, and a lot of activity back there. So that's been a bite. That mid-range has kind of seemed where a lot of the fish are. You know, they're working towards the mouths of these creeks, a lot of them. Secondary points, docks on channel swings that are kind of around deeper water, but you want to have some cover around that you can throw at, whether it be brush piles, metal, you know, the boat docks themselves, anything that's under the water that's going to attract those fish, whether it be a drop off or anything of that nature is kind of what you're looking for. They're setting up on stuff that's going to break the current. And a lot of days they're suspended, but some days they'll be on the bottom. So you just paying close attention to my electronics has helped me, you know, really figure that out day to day. Looking at my Garmin screen, seeing where they're located, if they're up high on cover, or if I can see them low on the bottom. That really helps kind of my bait selection and just kind of my retrieve. You know, if they're up high, a lot of times I'm trying to bring that bait past them with whether it's a swim bait or swimming that jig past them. You know, you want to make that bait fall in front of them and get a reaction out of them. But variety of soft plastics are working. We've been throwing drop shots on a lot of our guide trips. You know, just stuff that's easy for people to hook fish and get to the bottom fast, be able to feel the bottom. So variety of stuff's working out here. Crappie fishing's been good. I'm seeing a lot of guys trolling. Personally, I haven't been out crappie fishing a whole lot, but I have caught some when I've been structure fishing. You know, I've been out there offshore throwing at brush piles, you know, throwing baits over these deeper points. And, you know, for whatever reason, the bass have been a little slow doing that, but the crappie are definitely out there hanging out around any kind of cover that's out on those points, out in the current. And a lot of guys targeted them. Trolling, you can drop a minnow down on them. You can target them with jigs. You know, I would suggest maybe like an 1/8 ounce jig, given the how deep a lot of them are. And then, you know, a little Bass Pro Shops Baby Shad is always one of my favorite go-to lures when I'm targeting crappie. Seeing a ton of them underneath bigger boat docks, closer to the main lake, way back in the shade, way under the boat. So look for an open stall, look for cables in like condo docks, community docks, things like that. And these crappie are pushing back there, getting in the shade, and they can be a blast when they're biting. So usually the evenings are kind of the best time to target those. But, you know, also speaking of evenings, a lot of night tournaments going on, a lot of evening tournaments. And, you know, the spinnerbait bite after dark with some current and watercolor has been really good. This is the Bass Pro Shops Brawler Blade. Say that 3 times fast. Really good spinnerbait. And I've got a Bass Pro Shops Speed Shad on the back of there, and been rolling that around at night, just around the bank, any kind of cover that's below the water, and catching some good fish on that. So it's been fun year for the spinnerbait. Been able to catch them pretty much all year on it. So fishing's good. I've got some availability for guide trips, and you know, the fishing is just going to continue to get better. If we get some warmer weather, get some more rain, we're going to continue to have current. These fish are going to continue to bite. They're going to slide out a little deeper, and eventually maybe they'll get a little easier to pinpoint. Right now they're scattered, and you know, a little bit hard to locate sometimes, but the fishing's good. Lots of bites to be had. On my guide trips, we've been getting anywhere from, you know, 20 to 50 bites in a 4 to 5 hour time period. So lots of bites. Lots of keeper bites and some really big fish showing up. So it's a fun time to get down to the lake. Call me if you, or message me if you want to get out there on the water. And if you're looking for batteries, always check out wholesalebatteries.net. They will deliver batteries to your door. I've been using the MillerTech lithium batteries this year, and they've been amazing. I actually left my boat unplugged, or actually had my charger messed up, and it was connected to the wrong battery, so I was only charging like one battery for like 2 weeks and never lost power, fished multiple tournaments, had a ton of guide trips. The MillerTech lithium batteries are bulletproof, so if you're in the market for batteries, I would suggest checking the MillerTechs out, and Wholesale Batteries is the place to go to get batteries. They know what they're doing. They got all the best name brand batteries, no private label stuff, and you know, they know what they're talking about. They're good guys and great fishermen. So wholesalebatteries.net, check them out. They'll deliver them to your door. And until next time, good luck out there. Hope you guys catch a bunch of fish, and we'll have a new report for you in just a few weeks.